Hey everyone, welcome back to Paul's Q. Today, we're going to go over some basics on the Weber kettle. This here is the performer. You might have just the kettle by itself, which would be just this section. You won't have the cart. It's okay. Either way, same drill. Let's get into this, and I'll show you guys what you're going to do with it. So here we have our ash cleaning system, right here. There's a control arm that opens it. That is also your bottom damper. But this is how you would clean your ashes out once you're done with your cook. On the top lid here, you have your dome thermometer, which I wouldn't worry too much about that. And then you have your top vent, which controls your outflow of air from the pit. So open that up. Now for the bottom vent, which is your intake, you're going to want to mark it so you know where and when it's open. So you come over here and you've got it open about quarter of the way right there. So now if you come down here to the bottom, you can see where you're at. Now, if you're just starting out, sorry for the bouncing around, if you're just starting out with a kettle, take a Sharpie and mark, just like so. Now you know, that mark there is a quarter of the way open. Come back up, take a look, and then you can get it adjusted. That would be your halfway point right there. So now if you mark it here, you know that's your halfway point. And then if you come back up and take a look again, go for your full open setting, which would be right in that range there for your full open. So then you mark it over here. Now you know you're fully open, because if you open it all the way, you kind of obstruct it a little bit. But you know, if you marked it, you know where you're open, where your quarter setting is, and your half setting. So that's one tip for you guys. Just use a Sharpie, mark it out like I just did to show you. Then you'll be able to control your airflow into the pit a lot easier. So now, being said, once you have that, you want to smoke something. So you basically go to your first setting there at a quarter, or you can go to the halfway setting if that's what you choose. Come back up to the lid, and then you want to open your lid damper to wherever you feel. If you're just getting the fire started, you're going to have it open all the way. Now I find it easiest to open the bottom vent and then control my temp from the top vent. So I will make slight adjustments just to the top vent to dial in on the temp that I'm looking to get. That's what I recommend you do as well. But if you don't want to, you could leave this vent wide open all the time and adjust minorly on the bottom over here. It's all a matter of your choice, how you want to do it. Now let's talk about dumping the ash out of it. So once you've cooked, you give your pit a nice little scrape over here, just like this. Get all the ash to go into the ash catching compartment. Then you're going to come down here, you're going to squeeze the handle together, and it pulls right out. Now I have a metal bucket that I dump my spent charcoal into, just like that. I recommend a metal bucket, not a plastic one, because metal doesn't burn. So if you do have some hot embers or something still burning away in there, and it goes back in just like that, you don't end up melting through a pail. So keep that in mind. Use a metal pail, not a plastic. Once you've established all that and you're ready to somewhat get going, you have your charcoal grate. Put it down there. As you see, I have some old burnt charcoal, not the end of the world. I will reuse it. Here's what kind of fuel you will be using. This is what I have on hand. I have Kingsford Original, the blue bag, which is the briquettes. And I also have some Royal Oak hardwood lump charcoal. Now this hardwood lump charcoal will burn a lot hotter than a briquette. If you're looking for a long, low and slow, I recommend using a briquette. It doesn't actually have to be the Kingsford ones. You can use whatever brand you choose to use. You can use Royal Oak or Jealous Devil, whatever you decide. If you're looking to do a cook not so long and slow and sear it up nice like a steak, I recommend using lump charcoal for that. But you could do it with briquettes as well if that's all you have on hand. So charcoal being said, now you have charcoal baskets that probably came with the grill. Depending on the model you got, you can use them if you choose to, or you can use them or not use them if you don't want to. Basically, you put them in however you want. If you set them up like this, you have your indirect zone in the center, your direct zone off to the sides. You can set it up so any configuration really that you want to do, if you're going to use those. If you're not going to use them, 9 out of 10 times, I don't use those. I use them when I'm using my rotisserie. That's about it. But if you don't want to use them, you could always just bank your coals off to the one side, and then you'll have your indirect zone on the opposite side and your direct zone over the other side. Or you could just light a bunch of coals, spread them all over, and do a direct cook all together, if that's what you're looking for. This grill is so versatile, you can do almost anything with it. You can bake, you can smoke, you can sear, you can grill, you can barbecue, you can do it all. You just got to learn your pit and know how to use it. So now that we've established charcoal and somewhat set up, let's get into how we're going to see our temps. Now that we've gone over the charcoal, here's one thing that I do recommend also, is a chimney starter. This one is a Weber brand. This is the biggest one they have. I believe it was $22 at Home Depot I bought it for. 22 or 24, I can't remember. Anyway, regardless, they're not that expensive. I recommend yourself getting one of these, a charcoal chimney starter. It'll make your life a hell of a lot easier to start your charcoal. As you've seen in previous videos that I've done, put your charcoal in, whatever amount you want, light it up, let it go. Now this Performer here has a propane assist, which I do use with this charcoal chimney. I'll put it over top of it, start it up with that, let it go. If I don't, I use the wax cubes by Weber, which you've already seen me use in previous videos as well. You can use those as well. 9 out of 10 times, I'm using my chimney to start the fire. With my propane assist on this thing, I don't start the charcoal itself inside there on the charcoal grate with the propane assist, just due to the fact of how I usually set it up, and it's not going to accommodate for what I'm doing. So that's why I don't do it that way. I do use a chimney starter, but this will save you time and a lot of frustration if you get one. So now you've got your fire lit off to one side, all over, however you're cooking. You want to know what the temperature of your grate is reading at. Well, here's some items that you can get. This here is the ThermoWorks Smoke. This here is the ThermoWorks Smoke X4. This is an instant read, which is by ThermoWorks. Their ThermoPen MK4, which is great for checking the internal temps on meat and everything else. Now the smoke, you will be able to use it on your grill grate, and it also comes with a meat probe. So therefore you can use both ways. You'll be able to see what your temperature is doing on the grill, and you'll also be able to keep a monitor on what your meat temperature is. Same thing with the Smoke X4. This one has a long range, a lot longer range than this one, for if you like traveling around your house or your area or whatever. I believe you can go up to 1.5 kilometers away. Not sure what that works out to in miles, but sorry about that. This one here is the Smoke X4, which has 4 probes. It came with 1 grate probe, 3 meat probes. So you'll be able to monitor your grate temperature over here with the grate probe, and also 3 different pieces of meat if that's what you're cooking at the same time. Or if you're doing a pork butt or something, you can have one meat probe in one end and one in the other end. Brisket, you can have one in the flat, one in the point, however you choose to do it. Instant read, I suggest you get. Like I said, yeah, some idiot left that too close to the fire and it got hot, melted the clip for the back. It's okay, still works fine. It's got magnets, holds it. That's that on this. Now if you don't have in your budget for one of these products, get yourself one of those. This is just a simple oven thermometer. You can put that on your grill grate. Now if you position your lid properly and your thermometer properly, you'll be able to look through the vent holes on the lid and you'll be able to see what it's doing inside the pit. So get yourself an oven thermometer if you want. That way you know exactly what's going on inside the pit, because this here, chances are it's going to be off. I wouldn't trust it. It's not telling you what your reading at grate level is. It's just telling you what the top of the dome's reading at. Also, keep in mind, like when I do an indirect cook, I will have my coals banked off to the one side, my fire on the other side. I will rotate my lid so my damper is over top of the food that I'm cooking in my indirect zone, and this will be directly over the hot coals, which will not be giving you a proper reading as well. So keep that in mind if that's how you're going to be cooking. Get yourself an oven thermometer, which is not that expensive, or you can get yourself something like ThermoWorks products. I highly recommend the ThermoWorks products as I use them. I'm not paid by them in any which way. I just find they're accurate and they work perfectly great. You can find other brands on the market that'll do a decent job. I don't know how accurate they really are. These I test every once in a while just to keep them going and make sure they're calibrated properly. So there you have it. So that about sums it up for your tutorial on a Weber kettle. I am by no means an expert on this. I'm just giving my advice on how I operate my grill. It'll work for you as well. You guys can figure out a different way of doing it all on your own once you get yours up and running. I'm also catering more towards a first-time kettle owner as opposed to an experienced woodsman, if you want to say. I'm sure someone's going to come at me in the comments and say something. Hey, I'm not an expert. I'm a backyard cook. Do my job for my family, feed them, great food. Now these ThermoWorks products, if you're interested in them, I'll have a link in the description below. You guys check it out. Go on over there and get yourself something. If it's not in your budget, oven thermometer, like I said, possibly. If you guys like this one, like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Share this with your friends. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.